My secret wife and I ended up on the same reality dating show. She's an A-list actress, and I'm a D-list nobody. During a live stream, I slipped into old habits and called out, "Diana, I'm thirsty." A popular young heartthrob immediately shot back with a sneer. "Huh, listen to you, acting like you're actually her husband. If you are, why don't you make it public?" I slapped my hand over his mouth in a panic. Did this guy have a death wish? Me not wanting to go public was Diana's biggest sore spot. Sure enough, the next day, the heartthrob was completely canceled online. He went live with a bird's nest of hair, crying crocodile tears for Diana. "Babe, they're tearing me apart like this, and you're still not going to announce our relationship?" He then held up a marriage certificate. The names on it, unbelievably, were his and Diana Hayes. I sent Diana an iMessage with the offer my agent had gotten me for the reality dating show. Not even 3 seconds later, my phone was ringing with her name. "Honey, what is this trashy show? If you go on it, are you still going to love me?" I was speechless. Wasn't she at an award ceremony right now? How could she reply instantly? Rubbing my temples, I patiently tried to explain. "Sweetheart, don't ask questions like that. If anything changes, I'll let you know." She went quiet. I took the opportunity to continue. "I'm just going to coast and collect a paycheck." The real star of the show is that popular young heartthrob. On her end of the line, I could hear someone urging Diana to get on stage for her award, and our call was cut short. But when she came home that night, she was holding the script for the very same reality show. She started trying to sweet-talk me. "Honey, everyone else is there to get paired up. Why don't you use this chance to finally announce our relationship?" I shot her a look, but didn't say anything. After all, she was the one who refused to go public in the first place. Not that it mattered anymore. I was busy looking over the script and offered a helpful suggestion. "If you're that desperate to go public, why don't you just get paired up with someone else on the show?" Diana was silent. Her face went cold as she pulled out her phone and started stabbing at the screen. A moment later, my phone chimed. "Venmo, you've received $999,999. I immediately dropped the script and plastered on my best customer service smile. "Sweetheart, I'm so sorry. That was a terrible thing to say. I'll do anything you want, except for going public." The next morning, Diana left for work while holding the small of her back. Before she left, she made sure to tell our housekeeper to brew me a potent vitality soup. I rolled my eyes and snuck out the door while our housekeeper was enthusiastically dumping a pharmacy's worth of herbs into the pot. Diana wasn't scheduled to appear until the 3rd episode, so I was heading to the set alone today. When we got to the designated location, I was worried our driver's car was too flashy, so I had him drop me off halfway up the hill and drag my suitcase the rest of the way. I had just reached the entrance to the mansion when I heard a familiar voice. "Frank, you've really hit rock bottom, haven't you? Dragging your own luggage now." I looked up. Of course, it was Ethan Vance. He and I debuted the same year with a similar style, but now he was a famous heartthrob, while I was still a nobody. But being a nobody has its perks, like being able to go completely off the rails whenever I want. At least I pass for a human being. "I hear you're some kind of heartthrob. What even is that? Is it a thing?" Ethan was speechless for a moment, unable to explain what kind of thing he was. The director, who had been enjoying the show, finally stepped in to save him. The show started quickly. It was a live reality dating show with a set broadcast schedule every day, and a live chat feed would scroll on a smartwatch they gave us. The director paired me with another D-list actress, a plain-looking woman named Jessica Carter. She introduced herself and graciously asked if I needed any help. She gave me a hand while I was moving my things and passed me plates while I was cooking. When a meal was ready, she even helped set the table. The live chat, seeing her gentle and helpful demeanor, immediately fell in love. "This Jessica is so sweet. I'm officially a fan. Look at this hidden gem of a girl I just discovered." Frank's camera is basically Jessica's boyfriend cam. He's so lucky. This continued until the director behind the camera waved his hand, signaling that our segment was over. Jessica instantly flung my hand off her arm. What a waste of time. Why'd they pair me with a nobody? Seeing my stunned expression, she gave me a disgusted once-over. "I'd advise you not to get any ideas and actually fall for me. I have over 6,000 followers on my personal account, and I got an 8.9 on one of those face rating apps. A future star like me is way out of your league, you nobody." As she turned to walk away, I quickly grabbed her arm. "Hold on a second, lady." I looked her up and down, then let her have it. "I saw on your profile that you've been acting for 8 years, but your total screen time adds up to less than 2 minutes. And for 1 minute and 49 seconds of that, your face isn't even in the shot. Even a nobody like me has 11 more seconds of FaceTime, and the nerve you have is incredible. You're not a rising star. You're a rising joke." "Frank, you." I let out a cold laugh. released her sleeve, dusted off my hands, and walked away. I wasn't about to let her have the satisfaction of storming off first. During the evening shoot, I was even less courteous to Jessica. I deliberately avoided any physical contact with her and left her with all the dirty and tiring chores. Since the cameras were rolling, she had to keep up her sweet, helpful persona and just take it. The live chat, however, was going wild. Why does this guy keep bossing Jessica around? Poor Jessica. She's working so hard. We love our queen. What a jerk. Who does he think he is? Acting like some big star. The second the cameras were off, Jessica's face turned thunderous. We get to switch partners in 2 episodes, Frank. Just wait until I'm famous. You'll be sorry. I just cleaned out my ear, treating her threat like the hot air it was. The second episode's group activity was a trip to the Zenith Galleria, the most luxurious mall in Los Angeles, to buy gifts for our partners. When we arrived at the entrance, I froze. Wasn't this the mall Diana had given me? I had a feeling my cover was about to be blown. Ethan, seeing me just standing there, immediately sidled up and exclaimed loudly, "Frank, what's with the days? Never been here before?" I guess that makes sense. A guy who probably licks the foil off his yogurt cups couldn't get in here anyway. I couldn't be bothered to argue with this clown, but he just doubled down. He pulled an exclusive black card from his wallet, showing it off with a magnanimous air. I won't lie to you all. This is a Zenith executive black card. The VP of Zenith gave it to me personally. There are less than 50 of these in the world. Even Zenith's top-tier clients can't get one. She sees me as a future brother-in-law, so she gave it to me as a welcome gift. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to show it off and give you all a little taste of the good life. I was completely baffled. I was the current owner of Zenith, and the VP was Diana's sister, Rachel. If he was the brother-in-law, then what did that make me? As soon as he said that, everyone crowded around him. Ethan was already the biggest name on the show, and now that he'd revealed this connection to the VP of Zenith, everyone was scrambling to get on his good side. The director rubbed his hands together, fawning over him. Well then, perhaps Mr. Vance could lead the way and broaden our horizons. Ethan gave a cool nod, pretentiously adjusted his collar, and held the black card out to the concierge. The cameras started rolling again. Someone in the live chat recognized the card instantly. Whoa, a Zenith black card. I guess Ethan really is from a rich family. Ugh, I'm so jealous. It's like Ethan is the main character of his own movie. The young woman at the concierge desk seemed flustered by all the attention, but she nervously swiped the card and led the group toward the owner's private VIP elevator. But with so many people, the elevator's weight limit was exceeded. From the back of the crowd, Ethan spoke up mockingly. "Frank, you're the extra weight here. Why don't you get out?" Before I could even respond, a few others from the crew started pushing me out of the elevator. I didn't want to be crammed in with them anyway, so I didn't argue and just stepped out to wait. A nearby attendant immediately strode over, looking down his nose at me. "Sir, you can't use this elevator without a black card. The service stairs are around the back. You can climb those." I gave him a deadpan look. "No card means I have to take the stairs? Aren't there public elevators just on the other side of this bank?" He clearly didn't expect me to know the mall's layout, and the smirk on his face vanished. His expression turned cold. "I'm sorry, sir, but upon evaluation, I've determined you are not the kind of clientele I am required to serve." I nodded agreeably. "In that case, go get your manager." The attendant just gave me a sideways glance and didn't move. I actually laughed out of sheer frustration. So much for being low-key. I pulled out my phone and called Diana's sister, Rachel. "Rachel, can you swing by the Zenith Galleria?" The attendant heard me and let out a mocking laugh, but he wasn't laughing for long. A Bentley pulled up to the entrance, and valets scrambled to open the door and take the keys. Rachel saw me standing by the door and hurried over. "Frank, my favorite brother-in-law, why are you just standing out here?" I shrugged. "I'm here filming a show." Apparently, I couldn't get in. The mall's general manager, Mr. Davis, came rushing over just then. Hearing my words, he started bowing and frantically wiping sweat from his brow. "Ms. Hayes and Mr. Miller, sir, you came without any notice. My staff is new. They've been terribly disrespectful." I let out a cold, teasing laugh. "Mr. Davis, it's certainly a challenge to get a meeting with you." With that, I turned to the attendant from before and gave him a slight smile. "So, may I use the elevator now?" The manager beside me immediately slapped the attendant across the face. "You dare to give your own boss a hard time? Who do you think you are?" The attendant was in a state of pure shock, so stunned he didn't even seem to feel the slap. He's the owner." Rachel, however, wasn't satisfied. "Fire him and blacklist him. I don't want him working for any Zenith Corporation entity, ever." The attendant's legs gave out, and he crumpled to the floor. The manager nodded so fast his head was a blur, terrified that if we weren't satisfied, he'd be next. Rachel handed her own black card to the manager, who then respectfully escorted us to the elevator. Seeing the card reminded me of something. "Rachel, do you know an actor named Ethan Vance?" She looked completely blank. "Who? Never heard of him." I couldn't help but laugh. But he claimed his card was a welcome to the family gift from you, his future sister-in-law. Rachel laughed, but there was no humor in it. I'd give that piece of plastic as a gift to my brother-in-law. What kind of clueless parasite would dare to use my name like that? Rachel stormed into the elevator. "Mr. Davis, go find that film crew and inform them that our Frank is no longer participating in their ridiculous show. And find out where that fake card came from now." Seeing me hesitate, she gave me a little push. "Come on, I'll take you shopping. I'll cover the breach of contract fee for this stupid show." It wasn't the contract fee I was worried about. Whatever. The crew clearly didn't care about me. They hadn't even called. I might as well go shopping with Rachel. But as we were walking away, Rachel suddenly turned back to Mr. Davis. "And deal with that Ethan Vance. If my psycho sister finds out about this, she'll kill me for not protecting her precious boy." I was speechless. Mr. Davis agreed profusely. I pressed my fingers to my temples, feeling a headache coming on. She was right. Diana absolutely could not find out about this, or else. I wandered around the mall with Rachel for a while until she got a call from her assistant about a meeting and had to leave. The moment she was gone, I heard a loud commotion from the entrance. I turned and saw it was the film crew. Ethan spotted me first and charged forward. "Frank, you son of a bitch." Security guards immediately intercepted him, but he kept screaming. "You conspired with that manager, didn't you? You told him to say my card was fake." Mr. Davis stood nearby, explaining patiently. "Mr. Vance, we've told you multiple times, and the machine has verified it repeatedly. Your card is a forgery." The production team had long since stopped filming, and they all looked mortified to have been kicked out. I could hear whispers from the crew. "This is so embarrassing, right out in public. Trying to fake a status he doesn't have. Who was he even trying to impress?" I could hear them, which meant Ethan definitely could. He became hysterical. "What are you all whispering about? I'll tell you the truth. This card was given to me by the owner of Zenith herself. Her identity is just too sensitive to reveal, so she told me to use her sister's name as a cover. You just wait. My wife is coming for the 3rd episode, and when she announces our relationship on the show, you'll all see." As soon as Ethan said that, the director's face went pale. The fact that Diana was joining the show for the 3rd episode was still confidential. Only the director knew. But combined with the mention of Rachel Hayes, it didn't take a genius to figure out who Ethan was claiming as his wife. I was stunned too. I always knew Diana had a first love she never got over. With Ethan speaking so confidently, could he actually be the one? When we got back to the mansion, Jessica was suddenly all over Ethan, waiting on him hand and foot. Speaking of this morning, the stream cut out after that manager showed up. "Anyone know what happened?" "My friend has an inside source. Said Ethan's black card was a fake." "Huh? For real? Rumors are easy to start, aren't they? Can't you see the whole crew is still fawning over our Ethan? Anyone could be a fraud, but not him." "Exactly. I bet Frank is the one who's the fraud here. He's obviously just jealous of Ethan and trying to start drama." I glanced over at Ethan, who was shamelessly basking in the attention from Jessica and 2 other female contestants. "Ladies, don't just focus on me," he said grandly. "Pay attention to the other guys, too. I'm just here to fill a spot. If you act like this, my partner might get jealous." The moment he said that, the live chat blew up. Did he just have a slip of the tongue? He meant to say wife, didn't he? OMG, Ethan is such a good guy. He has a girlfriend, but isn't leading anyone on. I'm dying to know who she is. Is she famous? I have inside info. My brother-in-law's best friend works at Zenith, and he said when the crew filmed there today, it was revealed that Ethan is the owner. Whoa, no wonder he had that black card. He owns the place. So the real question is, who's the owner's wife? I sipped my iced tea as I read through the comments, silently adding a thought of my own. The owner is me, your daddy. But it wasn't the right time to openly go to war with Ethan. If he really was Diana's first love, I'd need more evidence to get a better settlement in the divorce, right? At that thought, I excitedly sent her an iMessage. "Miss you. Get here now." Diana replied instantly with 100 exclamation points, followed immediately by a frantic call. I emotionlessly swiped to decline. Since they didn't get enough usable footage that morning, the producers suggested we play truth or dare that evening. The standard dare was to call the person you have pinned to the top of your iMessage contacts. The first few rounds were fun and lighthearted. People called their parents, other celebrities, their agents. It was my turn. "Frank, you got a dare," Ethan announced, having won the round. Ever since the incident at the mall, Everyone was sucking up to Ethan even more, and they were all eager to watch me get humiliated. Fine, I agreed. I opened my iMessage, and there at the very top, pinned, was her name, Diana Hayes. The live chat went into a frenzy. Diana Hayes? Is that the Diana Hayes? An A-lister probably has a huge network, so having her number isn't that weird, but pinning her to the top? That's just clout chasing. LMAO, the things people will do for fame these days are just pathetic. Ethan burst out laughing. Frank, your pinned contact is Diana Hayes? Ha, you should take a good long look in the mirror before you. I cut him off by pressing the call button. You talk too much. The call connected almost immediately, but it wasn't Diana's voice. Mr. Miller, Miss Hayes is busy at the moment. Is there a message I can pass along for you? It was her agent. To clear her schedule for this show, Diana had crammed all her other work into the last few days, working around the clock. I felt a pang of affection. It's nothing important. Just tell her to keep making that money. That way, she'd have more to split with me later. Understood. The line went dead. Ethan's mocking voice immediately filled the silence. That's hilarious. The great Diana Hayes obviously didn't want to take your pathetic call, so she had her agent get rid of you. But some viewers in the chat had noticed something. Wait, did her agent almost say Mrs.? Get real. There's no way with a nobody like Frank. Honestly though, Ethan is being kinda jerk about this, isn't he? How is he a jerk? Ethan's right. She's a huge star, and this Frank guy is just desperately trying to use her for clout. Anyone would be annoyed. The director saw I was about to fire back and quickly moved things along, cutting the cameras the second they had enough content for the segment. As everyone was packing up for the night, Ethan suddenly stepped in front of me. Frank, why do you have Diana's number? I had no desire to engage with him and just kept packing my bag, but he wouldn't let it go. My gaze turned icy. I don't just have her number, I have her address. I even know exactly what she's wearing today. How does that make you feel? Mel? Diana was so worn out from our activities last night that she didn't even have the strength to get dressed this morning. I had to help her. So I wasn't lying. I knew exactly what she was wearing. Ethan was so furious, his eyes looked like they were about to pop out of his head. Are you some kind of creepy stalker? Just you wait. Diana gets here tomorrow. I'm going to have her announce our relationship, and then our shippers are going to tear you to shreds online. As the guy with the legally binding marriage certificate, I wasn't worried in the slightest. Even if he did manage to make some announcement, he'd just be the other man. I just smiled. Well, good luck with that. When Diana arrived on set wearing sunglasses, I was still taken aback by the sheer excitement of the cast and crew, even though I knew she was coming. The production team was the most ecstatic. It's Diana Hayes. It's really her. Who on our team has this kind of pull? I heard Diana never does reality TV. Sure. I heard she asked to be on the show herself. Oh my God. She must be here for Ethan. It looks like they're really going to announce their relationship. The live chat was flying by. I must be dreaming. I'm seeing Diana Hayes on a reality show. Oh, my queen, my wife. Just a casual viewer here. Who is Diana getting paired with? Is that even a question? Who else could it be but Ethan? The director started arranging us for the shot. Diana spotted me from across the set, a small smile playing on her lips. Before I could even react, Ethan, who was standing right next to me, waved at her. Diana. Ich glanced over, amused. Ethan was wearing a bespoke suit for the occasion. His hair was shellacked with so much product that when a breeze blew past, not a single strand moved. He'd really gone all out. Diana looked confused for a second, then whipped off her sunglasses and started walking straight toward me. She'd barely taken a step before a crew member intercepted her. I gave her a subtle, reassuring look, signaling for her to just follow the staff's instructions for now. She immediately stopped, but she looked at me with a pitiful expression, her eyes locked on mine. OMG, I ship it so hard. Is Diana looking at Ethan? Ethan looks so handsome today. But am I crazy? Or what does it look like she's looking at the cute guy behind Ethan? What was his name again? Oh, here we go again. Keep the clout chasers fans out of this chat. The director then announced the next activity, a barbecue in a park on the outskirts of the city, followed by a partner swapping ceremony in the evening. The men and women were put into separate vans. Diana kept looking back over her shoulder as she got into her vehicle. I just gave her a little wave to let her know it was fine. With the cameras off of the drive to the park, I got an iMessage from Diana. I miss my hubby so much. I just want to cuddle with you. Crying cat meme. I laughed and sent back a sticker of a character pushing someone away. Her reply was immediate. Why? I want to cuddle with my husband out in the open. Small, helpless, and chubby animal meme. Before I could type a reply, a commotion started at the front of the van. It was Ethan, causing trouble again. His expensive suit was apparently too delicate for the van's standard seats. Since his assistant wasn't in our van, he ordered one of the newer male contestants to take off his jacket so he could use it as a cushion. The guy refused to be humiliated like that. So Ethan just started trying to rip it off him. I finally spoke up. Don't be an ass, Ethan. If you can't afford to replace it, don't wear clothes that are more valuable than you are. He exploded like a firecracker. This is none of your damn business. If I want it, he gives it to me. Ethan kept pulling at the guy's jacket, but he was no match for the two of us. He gritted his teeth, hissing, fine. After this show is over, I'll make sure you two never work in this town again. I just shrugged as if to say, I'm waiting. When we arrived at the park and took a short break, the director called for cameras to roll. The second a camera was pointed at him, Ethan immediately went over to the other guy and apologized profusely, claiming he had just accidentally tugged on his jacket. His performance was heartfelt and utterly convincing. The live chat immediately filled with praise for him. The other guy and I were just speechless. I was about to say something, but then the van with the women pulled up. Diana hurried out, and in a flash, she was standing right beside me. As we both faced the cameras, she discreetly took my hand behind my back, hidden from view. I glanced down at her, and her eyes were dancing with a joy she couldn't hide. The tone in the live chat started to shift. Am I seeing things? Or does our ice queen look genuinely happy today? Why do Frank and Diana look so good standing next to each other? I agree. The more I see of Ethan, the more fake he seems. This other guy is way more handsome. The person above is obviously a paid hater. Stop trying to bring down our Ethan. Diana didn't reluctantly let go of my hand until the director had finished explaining the next task. I said, let's go wash the vegetables together, hon. I caught myself and quickly changed it. Hayes. Diana laughed, mimicking my tone. Okay, hon Miller. Ah, they're so cute. I'm starting to ship it. Doesn't anyone else think Diana seems super cool and protective? Maybe Frank and Diana really are good friends, and that's why he has her pinned on iMessage. Everyone was busy preparing for dinner. I stepped away from the washing station to grab more vegetables, and when I turned back, I saw Ethan had squeezed his way next to Diana. The wind was picking up, and Ethan was still in that ridiculous suit, which was neither warm nor practical. But Ethan kept trying to get her attention. Diana, let me help you with that. Diana's face went cold, and she immediately turned and walked away. Ethan hurried after her. What else do you need to do? I can help. Ugh, can't this guy take a hint that she's not interested? Didn't Ethan say he had a wife? Maybe they're just trying to keep their distance on purpose for the show. The comment above is the truth. The A-lister is famously aloof with men, but today she's all smiles with that Frank guy. It's obviously a smokescreen scripted by the producers. In the live chat, Ethan's fans thought this theory made perfect sense. As they watched Diana avoid Ethan like the plague and trail after me instead, they became even more convinced that she and Ethan were secretly hiding their relationship. To be honest, I was starting to think something was up, too. Knowing Diana's personality, she would never tolerate a creep clinging to her like this. Yet today, she was being surprisingly patient with Ethan. Maybe he really was her first love after all. As evening fell, a cool breeze swept through the park. Everyone gathered in a circle around the barbecue pit. I draped a blanket over Diana's shoulders, then rolled up my sleeves and started turning the meat on the grill. Ethan, having changed into a new outfit, squeezed in to sit next to Diana. I used a pair of tongs to pick up a piece of cooked meat, snipped off a small corner to taste it, and said, "It's done, but it's a little hot." I then placed the piece on a plate to let it cool. The next second, Ethan used his chopsticks to snatch that piece of meat from Diana's plate, popped it into his mouth, and mumbled, "Yep, it's cooked." All the surrounding conversation stopped. The air itself seemed to freeze. I frowned. Did this guy have no shame? Ethan acted as if nothing was wrong. He picked up the jacket Diana had set aside. "Diana, it's getting cold. Here, let me put this on you." Diana snatched it back with lightning speed. "Get lost," she snapped, patting the jacket as if to dust off his touch. Ethan, however, continued his act. "Don't be so aggressive. Come on, let me have a sip of your water, and I'll forgive you for being mean." Before Diana could react, Ethan had already twisted the cap off the water bottle she'd been drinking from and taken a swig. I watched as Diana's expression turned murderous in a split second. Afraid she was about to slap him on camera, I quickly interjected, "Diana, I could use some hot water." She immediately dropped the blanket and strode toward her trailer, her long legs captivating everyone's attention. A moment later, she returned, carrying my blue thermos. Ethan immediately started in with his passive-aggressive comments. "Huh, some people really think they're the A-lister's husband. If you're so important, why don't you just make it public?" I slapped my hand over his mouth in a panic. Did this guy have a death wish? My reluctance to go public was Diana's biggest trigger. She was already on the verge of snapping. How could he be so stupid? Sure enough, the next day, it was announced that Ethan was being blacklisted from the entire industry. The show was ordered to halt production, and Ethan was facing an astronomical breach of contract lawsuit. He and his fans were completely blindsided. Wait, what happened? I didn't miss a day, did I? I wake up, and the heartthrob is canceled. Breaking news. Sources say the A-lister did it. He must have really pissed her off. But wait, yesterday everyone was saying they were a secret couple. Are they secretly mortal enemies instead? Whoa, Ethan is live on TikTok. Everyone go watch. I glanced over at Diana, who was currently on the phone orchestrating Ethan's cancellation, and my curiosity got the better of me. I opened TikTok and joined his live stream. On screen, his hair was a mess, and his face was gaunt. He clearly hadn't slept. With red-rimmed eyes, he began to speak. I've been framed. Someone shamelessly seduced my wife and then convinced her to cancel me. I don't want to live anymore. The chat exploded. What? The wife he's talking about. He doesn't mean Diana, does he? Then who's the one who seduced her? It has to be Frank. Let's not jump to conclusions, people. There's no proof. Yeah, I hate it when people are so vague. If you have proof, show it. I had assumed this wave of online skepticism would make Ethan panic and back down. Instead, he just let out a theatrical sigh. I really didn't want to be so public about this. But since you're all so curious, I suppose I have no choice but to satisfy that curiosity. Just as I was wondering what other stunts he could possibly pull, a scene unfolded that left the entire internet in shock. He slowly pulled a marriage certificate from a nearby drawer. The names on it were, shockingly, Ethan Vance and Diana Hayes. In an instant, the internet erupted. I, however, felt a smile creep onto my face as I watched Ethan's little performance. Because Diana, who had just been on the phone behind me, was now radiating an absolutely terrifying coldness. She was staring at my phone screen, the veins on the hand clutching her own phone bulging. I smirked. It looked like that marriage certificate wasn't exactly official, more like something you'd buy online. Ethan, you just dug your own grave. Ethan's clever little performance had backfired, and he had just stepped on Diana's biggest landmine. Originally, he was just facing a career cancellation and a lawsuit. But now, thanks to Diana's intervention, things were about to get a whole lot worse for him. In a cold, clipped voice, she gave the order to dig up everything on Ethan Vance. I knew then that he was completely, utterly finished. No celebrity who clawed their way to the top has a past that can withstand that kind of scrutiny. Sure enough, less than half an hour later, a mountain of files on Ethan was piled on the table in front of Diana. I picked up a few of them with great interest. It started with him being publicly shamed in middle school for being the other man and stealing someone's girlfriend. Then came the cheating on his SATs in high school. In college, there were records of various side hustles, from being a paid gaming companion to sweet-talking wealthy older women for money. It was all there. I couldn't help but be impressed by the reach of Diana's power. She had managed to dig up all this dirt in under 30 minutes. Most celebrities have their agencies scrub their pasts clean once they get famous. But with Diana's resources, everything had been unearthed. Diana had always been ruthless in her professional life. But Ethan, idiot that he was, had insisted on trying to use her. He had played with fire and gotten burned, and he had no one to blame but himself. Diana picked up one of the files and gave a few instructions over the phone. Release the contents of File 4 and File 11. You won't need to hire any bots to spread it. He crossed a line that no one in this industry will forgive. He wanted to go viral, didn't he? Well, I'll grant his wish. I glanced at the contents of the 2 files she mentioned. Any last shred of pity I might have had for Ethan evaporated. File 4 detailed how Ethan had promoted and sold a dangerous skincare line, taking an 85% commission. File 11 contained the stories of the victims, mostly students, whose faces had been permanently scarred and disfigured by the products. It also showed how Ethan and his team had orchestrated online harassment campaigns against anyone who tried to speak out, leaving the victims with no recourse. Many had since been diagnosed with severe depression. I thought that would be the end of it. I didn't expect the fire to spread to me. After Diana had finished making her arrangements, she leaned over and pinned me to the sofa. Her long hair spilled over my shoulders, and her scent was intoxicating, like pine after rain. It was as comforting as the winter sun, but the look in her dark eyes was anything but. A scorching fire was blazing there. She pressed her lips into a thin line, the possessiveness in her gaze at its absolute peak. Then, she kissed me hard. I, however, was terrified. Diana, control yourself. We're still in the hotel for the show. Someone could walk in at any second. She paid me no mind, instead cupping the back of my neck with one hand and deepening the kiss. Frank, let's go public, she whispered, her voice soft and almost pleading. I remembered it clearly. I had once begged her for the same thing, and she had turned me down. I cupped her face in my hands, my expression unreadable. Why now? It was the question that had been a thorn in my side for years, and I had finally asked it. She leaned down and kissed my forehead with a reverence that was almost holy, as if I were some priceless treasure. Because, she said, the Diana you fell in love with is now an award-winning actress. She's finally worthy of you. So that was it. My girl, she had been working so hard this whole time. A single tear of joy and relief slid down my cheek. I gently wrapped my arms around her waist. You idiot, I whispered. You were always worthy. This time, I was the one who initiated the kiss. Just then, the door swung open, and the entire cast and crew of the show filed into the room. We were too lost in the kiss to care. This was just one of Diana's little schemes. She wanted to prove to the world that she belonged to me. I knew it because I had seen her secretly texting the director just moments before. Oh well, she's my wife. I might as well spoil her. The entire room was frozen in shock. The other contestants were stunned, and the crew members were just as speechless. As for why the show, which had been put on hold because of the Ethan situation, had suddenly resumed filming, that was, of course, because Diana had become a new executive producer, investing a cool $20 million into the production. Diana slowly pulled away from me, a gentle smile on her face. Frank is actually my husband, she announced. We've been married for 2 years. That single sentence shattered the hopes of everyone in the room who still held out any fantasy. The director, on cue, asked, so why the sudden decision to go public now? Diana looked at him. We always planned to use the show to announce it, but my schedule was just too packed. This was the earliest I could join. Diana Hayes, the internationally acclaimed actress with unparalleled influence, a goddess to millions. And there she was, in front of all the cameras and everyone, leaning contentedly in my arms. The love in her eyes was practically overflowing. I've kept you waiting, my Mr. Miller. I smiled back at her. It was worth the wait, my Miss Hayes. So what about Ethan and that marriage certificate? What was that all about? Isn't it obvious? The Queen is setting the record straight. Whoa. Ethan's Twitter is getting absolutely destroyed, faking a marriage certificate, selling counterfeit products, disfiguring all those people. Latest update. Ethan has been arrested. He's probably going to be buried in lawsuits for the rest of his life. I clear my throat, breaking the silence. I've really enjoyed getting to know all of you these past few days. Please don't let this make things awkward. Let's just keep filming the show as planned. Except for Night's partner swap, I think I'll be pairing up with Diana. The room erupted in laughter and applause. Diana hugged me tightly, her face radiant amidst the cheers and congratulations. She looked as though she had just won an award 100 times more precious than any acting trophy. I'm literally crying. This world owes me a Diana Hayes. She's so beautiful. I love her. Am I the only one who feels like I just got dumped? Count me in as dumped too. But this is so sweet. I have to ship it. The rest of the season was basically just the Diana and Frank show. Help! The way Diana looks at Frank is just so full of love. You must be new here. We're used to it by now. A new person, don't leave. The fan forums are waiting for you. With so much new attention on me, it wasn't long before my identity as the owner of a Zenith Corporation was also revealed. Someone even posted a video of my confrontation with Ethan at the mall entrance that day. The online reaction was completely one-sided, with everyone calling Ethan a vain, social climbing parasite. A lot of people also expressed surprise that someone with my background could be so down-to-earth. Ethan was now officially labeled a disgraced celebrity. A long line of lawsuits and compensation claims awaited him. His future looked like one of endless poverty and legal battles. All his other past misdeeds were being exposed one by one, and he became a public pariah, a stray dog that everyone wanted to kick. Diana didn't even have to lift a finger anymore. Ethan had done it all to himself. Diana was cuddled up next to me as we watched a replay of the show, and she saw some of the old comments calling me a clout chaser. She suddenly sat bolt upright. I patted her head reassuringly. Honey, it's okay. Diana pressed close against my shoulder and snapped a photo with a click. What's up? I asked, looking down at her. She opened Twitter and showed me the post she had just made. The caption read, I love clout chasing off my husband, accompanied by the photo she had just taken of us. Within seconds, the post had thousands of comments, all of them complaining about her public display of affection. I gently squeezed her cheek. You're so childish. She buried her face in my chest. I'm not. I won't let anyone bully you. We successfully filmed the final episode of the show. At the wrap party, Diana had another commitment and couldn't make it, so I pulled out my phone to call her for a ride home. I opened my iMessage, and there, pinned to the top, was a new contact name, My dearest darling wife. I checked the phone again. It was definitely mine. When did she change that? I pressed the call button, took a deep breath, and finally managed to say, fighting back a wave of embarrassment, my dearest darling wife. What time are you coming to pick me up? On the other end of the line, a room full of people suddenly erupted in noise. And through it all, I could hear Diana's laughing voice clearly. I'm on my way, hubby. Moi.